Hey, this is Mass X with a brand new, I don't even know what I'm going to call this video. I guess let's call it the numbers game, because that's what it is. And each month there's a great person on Reddit. They have a website. I'm going to put all their information in the description. Releases this information because you can get it. It's public. You can go to Sensor Tower as well as a host of other places. But the problem is you just have to put it all together. It's a pain in the rear end. So somebody that does this monthly, kudos to them. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk about some of the games I play in particular and some other games and ones you might really be worried about. So we don't need to talk about Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail because they make more money than God. Love in Deep Space is crazy. It's supposed to be a great game. It's a husbando game. Kudos to the people supporting it. So Dragon Ball Z Dokkan, that amazes me that they went from 11 million to 35 million. That's just crazy. That thing just makes money forever. But let's go ahead and go down to some of the more games, at least that I play and I'm interested in. One that I'm going to be doing some videos for soon because I went back to, and I'm going to have a new series called Rewind, where I'm going back to games that I either wanted to play and never got a chance to, or played and I went back and started a new account to play them because I really think they deserve some attention. One of those is Blue Archive. Blue Archive is a game that's really interesting. It's been out for, I want to say, is it 2.5 years? I'm not sure off the top of my head. But when it came out, it didn't do super great. And then it had this surge, and it's just been going solid ever since. And the story in the game is solid. The gameplay is fun. The characters look great. I really enjoy it. And so I went and started an account about a month ago, started fresh. And I'm going to be doing a video here soon to talk about, the ups and downs of starting, especially a game that's that old. But honestly, I've really enjoyed it. And this game is just crazy and does really well. If you can see right there, for Japan alone, 12 million, 2 months in a row. That is nuts. That doesn't even include global or anywhere else. And it does well in global. We can keep going. A lot of stuff that we don't need to talk about. Jujutsu Kaisen, no shocker. It's going to keep making money, even though it's Japan only right now. That thing, I'm surprised it hasn't come out. See, there you go. Blue Archive. It did 3 million global, 6 million in February. It went up, doubled. I mean, it's just crazy, but it's a good game. It deserves it. So, like I said, I'll be doing a video on that hopefully within the next 7 to 10 days on should you play, because honestly, I'll give you guys a little spoiler. Yeah, you should. It's fun. There's so many games that come out, and a lot of them just aren't great stories. Let's keep going on this list here. Alrighty. I'm going to keep Black Clover Mobile. Now, this is one that I'm very invested in, and you're going to hear people going both tracks on this one, and I've done videos for this before. There's a lot of haters out there. I don't know why, in particular. I just don't get it, but people just love to hate the hate, so, that's why I gotta love the internet sometimes. But Black Clover Mobile has been in a steady decline since its release. And it's one of the strange games, I've talked about this before, where global is going to be financially keeping this game alive. It did not do well in its other incarnations. I think, for instance, I'm forgetting off the top of my head. I think it was in Japan. It wasn't even doing 500,000. It was doing much less than that. And this is a game that probably requires a significant amount of overhead due to that it's a new game, and I've talked about this before, so there's a lot of development involved in it. The servers take a little bit more because it's a semi-open world. There's just a lot of cost with this, plus it's an IP-based game at Black Clover, so I had to pay costs on the licensing on that, etc., etc. But for global, it had done in January 5 million, and it dropped another million to 4 million in February. And the reason why it's somewhat concerning is because the release of Black Asta was during that time. So yeah, that's makes you wonder. Now, do I think this by any means is an EOS game? Hell no. If they can stay steady, in my opinion at least, take it for what it's worth with a grain of salt, above 3 million, I think this game's not going anywhere for a while. I think they really would like to be seen somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 million a month on average. To me, that would be a pretty good success for them, especially given the trials and tribulations with the game. It's a solid game. It does have its flaws, and I think sometimes the developers are not forward thinking enough with setting up schedules for events and things, but it has a lot going for it. And if you're a fan of the IP, it's one of the better anime-based games out there. So fingers crossed. I don't think that one's going anywhere anytime soon, but again, it is concerning when you see a decline when there was a pretty favorable banner released. Another one I'd like to bring up, which is another game I'm going to be doing in my series, and I used to have an account on this game, and I started over just like Blue Archive, is Azer Lane. Azer Lane just keeps trucking along. This game's been around for a while, and they just keep bringing in money. It's not the 3D graphics and all this, it's World War II based, boats with waifus, and you're blowing up fleets, but it's fun and it's addicting and it's a good game, and it's one of the most free-to-play friendly games you will ever encounter. So I'm going to be doing a video on that also. That game's not going anywhere. It just keeps bringing in the money, and my guess is the overhead on that game is not very high. They developed it themselves. They do merchandise, so they have so many different revenue streams with that game without it being licensed from somebody else that it allows them to bring in a lot of money. So good game. I highly recommend if you're looking for something incredibly free-to-play friendly. Another one that just keeps chugging along, and for an idle game, this is pretty crazy, and that's the Tower of God New World. It just keeps making a few million and keeps chugging away. Kudos on that one, to say the least. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything else, but my biggest one that I wanted to talk about, and there it is One Punch Man World, okay? It did 45,000 in January, but that was only with being open for, I don't even know if it was a week. They did 1.3 million global. That is atrocious. Brand new game release, 1.3 million. To put it in perspective, the last Crunchyroll release, which I believe was Street Fighter Duel, opened to 10 million. The press for One Punch Man World has been horrendous due to their choices, first and foremost. The fact that from the beta, the original, doing your reroll did not cost you. They decided to make it pay to win only. So that was off the charts, which started the effects of issues. They pulled the pre-reg rewards already, like a month after being open, not even a full month after being open, come to think about it. Why do that? It's just crazy. And on top of that, they make the choice with, at least for the Crunchyroll published version, that we'll give you some silver, but you gotta have a premium membership with Crunchyroll. Whoever's in charge of making decisions over there. My God, I don't want to say that. I never want anybody to get fired. Put somebody else in that position. They are making really bad business choices, and they are sinking this game. This game has to cost a lot. It was developed from the ground up. It's a semi-open world. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, what is wrong with them? I was so excited for this game. I played the beta for a week, really enjoyed it. But what I'm finding is the longer I play it, the less I like it. And let me tell you why. Doing battles is fun. Fighting bad guys, fun. But doing mundane tasks, like to the theater, or 3 days in a row to the same singer to go buy her certain stuff. And the list could go on and on. It's like they put a lot of stuff in there to just keep people online. And let me explain something to everybody. Just not spending money in the game, if you're not happy with where it's going, isn't enough. I hate to say this, but if you stay and play the game and put time into that game, significant time online, that helps them in different ways that can be monetized. So, hate to say it, when you say I'm boycotting, but you still play the game for a couple hours every day, or over a week's time you put in, 25 hours, well, you're still helping them out. Keep that in mind in the future if you really want to make a point with a particular game developer. And that's the weird thing with this game, One Punch Man World. The publishers in different regions are doing different things. And generally, developers are the ones that make the decisions for everything, okay? And it's the publishers just basically being a buffer. I know a lot of people want to crap on Crunchyroll games, but I hate to tell you, more often than not, it's not their decision what's going on. It has to do with the developers. And no, I'm not a fanboy for Crunchyroll games at all, but it's the reality of the situation. But I'm starting to wonder what type of agreements this developer has out there with their publishers, because one publisher is dropping codes right and left, another one isn't dropping any. One is doing something where you can get silver this way, the other one not. I just do not understand what is going on, how this is being run in the background, and quite honestly, I find myself playing the game less and less. Like, I struggle to go in to do dailies because I'm so over not only their bad decisions, but the game is showing its true colors long term, because it's just starting to get monotonous and boring at times, at least to me. Hey, if you like the game and you have no issue with anything, support it. I'm not here to tell you what to do or not to do. Just my personal opinion for that's worth. But the game coming out of the gate is a brand new game with all the hype and all the money they spent on pre-promotion, going out to conventions to only garner 1.3 million global. That is bad news for them, and that's got to be scary. Another game I play is up on here, Echocalypse Scarlet Covenant. Did 1.8 million, dropped to 1 million. Not really a shocker. It's one of those strange games that also is in a quandary right now. But the thing is with this game is the overhead is low on it. This game's been published on China and C for a while. They're just basically porting it over for global, so the cost is minimal. So anything they make is a big plus. So I'm not too concerned about it. And quite honestly, I enjoy the game. The weirdest argument with Echocalypse Scarlet Covenant is the problem with the game is it has too much content. You have to decide really what you want to play and what you don't. And luckily there's portions of the game that maybe you're not into, so I don't play them. Their other issue is they drop banners pretty quickly, and the meta can change quite quite rapidly. Now it's kind of calmed down a bit. Now, of course, right now we have the New Year's going on with a double banner, which really is crazy, but I do understand because it's in reference to the new year. But yeah, good game, great designs and graphics, great waifus if you're into that, and can be a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't see that game that going anywhere, because kind of like some of the games that aren't even on this list, like One Punch Man, the strongest that I play, again, it's coming over from being on multiple different servers for years. Cost is incredibly low. Anything they make on it is just pocket change at this point. Doesn't really cost them anything besides server cost, and it's not a game that is going to take the most crazy up-to-date servers out there. So, and the IP for One Punch Man, ironically, is not nearly as costly as you would think compared to other ones. So I don't see that game even only making 100 to 200,000 a month going anywhere, because the cost is so low, and the developers quite prove it by how they handle it, because they put stuff in and translations sometimes are no good and whatever. But again, I look at it this way: the game ain't gonna go anywhere, and if it means a little mess ups here and there, fine. But that's why I was looking to One Punch Man World. I was looking because I love that IP so much for another game, and I was so hyped for it. And it's really sad to see the business decisions as well as the true colors of the game come out, because I was like in 1000% when I did the beta. So another game I played, Grand Summoners, absolutely love it. It's been around forever. I think overseas it's been around for 7 or 8 years, and global, I think it's 5th or 6th anniversary. Crazy game. That game has the best anime crossovers of any mobile game out there. It's crazy what they have had. I mean, what brought me to that game years ago was that they did a collab with Yu Yu Hakusho. I wish they would bring that back. Fingers crossed. But you name it, they've done it, from Chainsaw Man. It's just crazy everything that they've done with that game. In crossover wise, again, to me, it's one of those casual games. I don't have to play it every day. I'll usually do dailies, but I can do dailies in that game in 5 minutes. I mean, it's like I said, I love those types of games that you pick up here and there. Atier is out for global now, and it shows that it made 500,000 in January and 900,000, it looks like, in February, which is nice to see it go up. It's an interesting game. If you are familiar with Heaven's Burnt Red, it's the very same play style. A lot of people really wanted HBR to come out globally. It never has. Don't know why. It does incredibly well in Japan. But Atier I like it. It's a chill, graphically amazing game. I have videos already up on my YouTube of it. But again, it's kind of a niche game. A lot of people weren't happy because if you're not familiar, it's from console games from a long time, and tons of them. So when it came out as a mobile game, gotcha, a lot of people were not happy about that. I just play it because it has good stories, great graphics, and it's a game that I don't have to feel like I'm got to be in playing for hours on end every day, and it's kind of just a happy game. And you know what? Sometimes you just need a happy game. Besides that, there isn't much more to go over for what I play. If there is something somebody is interested in the future, I mean, Danmachi Battle Chronicle. I tried that game. I wanted to be into it. I love the IP, but man, that game just bored me to death. Looking through here, it just amazes me. Some of these games keep chugging along like they do. It is crazy. But in the end, it is what it is. It's people's tastes. And what I like doesn't mean you'll like it, and vice versa. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. So capsulize it. Black Clover Mobile. I'm going to keep a close eye on that one. One Punch Man World. Oh man, if you're going hard on that game, I would watch it. That game screams EOS all over the place within a year. If those revenues don't go any higher, if that's the highest they can get at 1.3, they are in some big trouble. So, alrighty, well, that's about it. Just wanted to go over the numbers, have some fun talking over a few games. If there's ones that you are interested in particular, put them in the comments. I like to watch this stuff. I've been doing it forever. I don't do a lot of videos on it, but I do it because I want to know where a game is at, and because I'm willing to put into a game to support it if I really like it. But I also know I don't want to be burning me money, if you get my drift. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.